Hey, welcome back to the Gear Room. And in our last episode, which got cut off because someone called my iPhone, whenever someone calls my iPhone, the video stops. We were in the middle of going over the new gear, but let's cut to the chase. So, if you recall, not long ago, I got this Tom Anderson. I think I ordered it 8 months ago. It took like 6 or 8 months to actually fulfill the order, partly because of COVID. And I got it, and it is, I'd say without exception, it's the nicest guitar I ever had. You know, I've had the same 1973 Fender Stratocaster since 1973, since I was like 13. And I've always loved it because it has a skinny neck, and it's got the original gray bobbin pickups. So they say that 70s Strats were like the lowest quality, but this is early 70s. And I think they're talking more like mid to late 70s. I think early 70s Strats were still great quality. I know the gray bobbin pickups are nice, and it's a hardtail. And then I had a Sir Classic Pro, which was great, but the neck was too big for me, and it kind of reminded me of a Paul Reed Smith, of a PRS, like perfect guitar, but it just, like, they didn't have any mojo. Like, they were perfect, the PRSs, but no vibe, no mojo. And I don't know if that's true about the Sir, like the Classic Pro. It was a fantastic guitar, but the neck was too big, and I just didn't really feel anything from it. And at one point I had an Eric Clapton Strat for a little while, which I sold, got my money back on. Great Strat, loved the mid-boost circuit, but neck was too big. I got little hands. This is the best guitar I've ever had. But I didn't really like the pickups. It had noiseless pickups on it, and they sounded fine, except when I went and played it against my friend's red Strat, and he has Kinman noiseless pickups in his, or hum canceling, the David Gilmour set, and his pickups, to my ear and to my friend's ear, really kind of blew away the pickups that were in the Anderson. They made the Anderson pickups sound somehow like kind of dull and muted, or like my friend said, like they had a blanket over them. So I was going to get the Gilmour set, because I have a set of Kinman P90 noiseless pickups in my 335, and they're just amazing. But I just wanted something different, so I researched, and I decided to, instead of going with noiseless or hum canceling or noise canceling pickups, to go back to just regular pickups. And it's debatable. A lot of people will say that, regular single coils sound better than the noise canceling pickups, because you have to do things to the noise canceling pickups to make them cancel the noise, but also that affects the tone. I don't know. My Lindy Fralin noiseless pickups sound just amazing, insane. But I went with these. These are made by a guy in Australia. His nickname is Slider. His name's Rod. So they're called Sliders pickups. And everywhere I researched, this came up over and over again. I even talked on the phone with the editor of ToneQuest magazine, and he said, that's it. So I got him. And I talked with Slider back and forth. And the set I got, and he hand winds them, and they're supposed to be as authentic as you can get to the actual sound of like the vintage pickup. So this is the 1957 set, but it's called the SRV set. I guess Stevie Ray Vaughan had his pickups maybe overwound. I'm not sure if his guitar tech did that, or who did it, but that supposedly he had overwound pickups. So these 57 handmade pickups by Rod or Slider are supposed to be like as close to vintage 57 pickups as you can get. They sound amazing. So I got them, and I actually got the whole loaded pickguard with like the original wiring, and so that's what we're going to listen to today. Sadly, of course, we can't compare them to the Anderson pickups because they're not in here anymore. But you can hear an earlier video with the Anderson pickups. But here we go. That's the neck. Let's do the quack. Middle. them. And I actually I'm happy in a way to go back to having just kind of original vintage pickups. Let's try, and I know you can't see my feet, but the amp I'm playing through, my Bludotone Bludodrive high plate Skyline. I can never think of that name. Why not just call it like the Laser or the Creamator? So on the clean channel, now I'm going to hit the drive channel, which just kind of stacks onto the clean. So here's the clean, drive, sorry. With the drive like that on the amp, you actually don't need any pedals. I mean, literally, you could have the clean channel and the drive channel and not need a single pedal. I have a bunch. Now I'm going to add the preamp boost to the drive. So here's the drive. Preamp. It adds something nice. Just the drive. Quite a difference. Drive again, just drive. Now I'm going to add the mid boost. Now, everything. It just sounds amazing. Now I do have pedals. I love pedals. I really don't need them anymore, but let me show you the pedals. So I'm going to kind of go through them. So my number one favorite est pedal is my, well, that's not true. They're all my favorite pedals. My Chase Tone Fuzz fella, which is like a fuzz face, you know, clone. And of course I love Jimi Hendrix and grew up with Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy. And he played with the fuzz face. And my whole life I never played with a fuzz face. I always played with a big muff. For some reason I had this idea I did not like the way fuzz faces sound. And then I finally got this and listened to it. Love that. And then you can turn the volume down and clean it up. Hang on. So if you turn the fuzz, which would basically be the drive, like the fuzz control, down a tiny bit, and I literally mean like a millimeter, it really cleans up. So here's the, you know, that sounds like a clean amp, basically. Now I'm going to turn it up. So with just this one pedal and with your volume knob, you could go from clean, a really nice sounding clean. Here, the pedal's off. Whoops, here's the, here's the pedal on. From that clean to this drive, or here's a little more clean. If you play softly, it's even cleaner. And here we go. add to that my Foxrox Octron, which is like the pedals that Jimmy's guitar tech, the famous pedal builder, would make for him. Like I can't think of his name because I'm thinking of Pete Cornish instead, which would really piss that guy off. But and that may not sound, the Octron may not sound as great, but I think in a band it would just cut through and sound awesome. So we can also add to the Fuzz fella, another pedal that Hendrix used, which was a Univibe pedal. Oh yeah, so the Octron would be like the Octavia, right? That Roger Meyer? Is it Roger Meyer? Yeah, Roger Meyer made these pedals for Jimi Hendrix. So like the Octavia pedal. So the Octron is sort of like the Octavia made by Roger Meyer for Jimi Hendrix. The other pedals Jimi Hendrix used, he used the Octavia and he used the Fuzz bass, but he also used a Univibe. And here is the Drybell Vibe Machine, which is my Univibe clone. So here's so yeah, that's similar to what Jimi Hendrix used, and I loved it. And I love it. Another pedal Jimi Hendrix used was a Leslie speaker. And Leslie's, if you know, are really big and incredibly heavy. You could never gig with one unless you seriously had a bunch of roadies to tote it. I don't know if Jimi Hendrix ever brought his Leslie on stage or if he just used it in the recording studio. I don't know, but it's part of his sound, and it's not like I try to copy Jimi Hendrix's sound. It's just that I like that sound because I grew up with it. But here's what the Leslie, mine is called a Neo Instruments Microvent, and it's a digital simulation of this, literally this giant cabinet that probably weighs over 100 pounds. But here it is. Bit more subtle. I love it. One of the things you could do with Leslie's, I guess, is step on something that would cause the speaker to spin really fast, which was one of the sounds people really, I think, loved about their Leslie's. So this will do that. So here's the straight guitar. Here's the Vibe Machine. Here's the Leslie. And I'm going to speed up the rotor. What's great about that pedal is that you can adjust like the dry and the clean signals. So you know what Gilmore, I think, and a lot of people, because Gilmore uses Leslie's, they'll have the Leslie speakers separate from their main amp so that they can have like, they can have more or less more or less Leslie in the mix. You can do that with this pedal because it has a wet-dry knob that will blend in the wet and the dry signal. It also has a knob that will virtually move the microphone closer or further to the speaker itself, and some other things. So I have 3 modulation pedals altogether: the Vibe, the Leslie or the Vent, and then the Thorpy Camoflange, which I'm about to turn on for you. And the Thorpy Camoflange is like an early vintage electric Mistress, which was a flanger, but a lot of people played it on records you've probably heard, but you think it's a chorus. So it doesn't sound like a flanger so much as a chorus. A great example of that is Andy Summers with The Police, but here it is. So amazing. Now I'll show you, just for fun, I'll show you the other pedals I use. We're still on the clean channel. Well, I'll show you one thing. I'm going to go back to the drive channel. One thing I like to do is, that's the drive channel, and I like to stack it with my Chase Tone Secret preamp. So here's the drive channel. The Chase Tone Secret preamp is the preamp section of a Echoplex EP3 tape delay, but it just adds something special to every other pedal. So I love that, and it has a lot of controls, a lot of settings on it. It's fantastic, always on pedal. So, whoops. Here's my clean signal. But there's a couple other pedals I should show you. So, you know, I like a TS9, a Tube Screamer, or a TS808. But I got a used Maxon OD9, really cheap, and I sent it to Analogman Maxon, and he modded it, and he put in all the components like for an original TS808, but with something he calls the silver mod, which is a little cleaner. And he also put in, inside the pedal, a bad boost, or a bad bob booster pedal, which is a separate pedal, but he put that circuit in this pedal. So in one pedal now, I have a TS808 and the bad bob boost. So here's the clean signal. Here's the 808. Clean. Here's the bad bob. That was the 808. Here's the bad bob. Whoops. So it adds a little something. Now I'm going to put them both on. 808 with the bad bob. Clean. So some people say the only reason that Tube Screamers are popular is because Stevie Ray Vaughan used one, and if he hadn't have used one, they wouldn't be popular. That may or may not be true. I don't know. I never even really heard about them or used one until not that long ago, and my friend gave me for $25 a vintage one. It's worth some crazy amount of money, and I like them. So anyway, and let's try that with the Chase Tone Secret preamp. So it's a TS-808. Just because a pedal makes everything louder doesn't mean, to me anyway, that it sounds better, but bad Bob. Both different, kind of subtle, but I like them. Now, my final pedal, my newest pedal, it's a brown amplification protein. I think it's kind of popular right now, but I heard the guys on that pedal show do a demo, and this is one of the pedals, and I thought it sounded great. And it's got, it's a dual pedal. On one side, it has a, so they say it's the pedal that John Mayer made famous on one of his famous albums. But basically, it's a blues breaker pedal. So this is a blues breaker, which was a Marshall pedal, a blues breaker. My JHS Morning Glory also is like a clone of a blues breaker. It's a subtle pedal, but I love it, and I really like this. The other channel is a Nobles OD9, which is a kind of a underground pedal that I guess was made popular maybe by Tim Pierce, by some studio or session guitarist. And apparently a lot of Nashville session players use it, and it's like the secret weapon. So here's clean. Here's the blue channel. So that's the blues breaker channel. That sounds about right. That reminds me a little bit of my Morning Glory. So clean. Let's try that with the Chase Tone Secret preamp. Let's try it with the overdrive from the amp. This is just the overdrive from the amp. I love that. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Here's clean again. Now here's the green side, which is the Nobles OD9 side. Or Nobles OD something side. I love that. I'll add that with the blue side. Really, I could just have that one pedal and that would be plenty. It's an amazing pedal. I'm going to add the secret preamp to it though. So I don't know. I'm completely blown away. The Protein, I love that pedal so much that it took off my board. That one pedal took off my board my Cali 76 compressor, my Analogman King of Tone, and my Klon KTR, and a JHS buffer. So 4 pedals got removed because of that one pedal. And to be quite honest, I could probably take off the Maxon OD9 or the Tube Screamer as well, because that one pedal sounds so good. I think the Chase Tone Secret preamp just works really well with it. But for now, I don't know, I like my tonal palette. Alright, I think that's good enough. Once again, the new pickups are amazing. All right, thanks for stopping by, and always a pleasure to be here on the Underground Gear Room. And I will see you soon. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye bye.